I enjoy getting feedback. I enjoy reading the comments on this channel. And in the last weeks, I more and more often got the feedback that this is the most bearish channel in all of crypto, that all that I'm doing is creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And yes, this video is going to be about Solana. And yes, the data that we're going to look at is not all positive. But here's the thing, isn't it better to look the truth in the eye than hope for the best and then get wrecked in the meantime? What we've got over here is the Solana dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in Solana? And the reason why this is interesting is because we buy an altcoin because we want that altcoin to do better than the rest. And yes, of course, in the first years after launch, Solana did phenomenally well. 80,000% outperformance. But then came the collapse of Terra Luna and of FTX, and Solana underperformed the rest of the market by more than 80%. Now there seems to be some kind of an invisible ceiling at around 3 to 4% of all of crypto being Solana. We had the top at 2.9% in November 2021, and then another top at 3.8% 3 years later. And unfortunately, if we enter a bear market and if speculation on Solana is coming down and people don't want to bet that much more on meme coin trading, then maybe the dominance could fall quite drastically again. I mean, it has happened in the past, right? And we've just started the potential down move. If history is any indication, we might see another underperformance of more than 77% from here. But that's of course a big if. That's in case we enter a massive bear market. How likely is it that usage of Solana will continue to go down? Now, some people might argue that SOL is simply just going down because everything is going down, right? Bitcoin is going down as well, so Solana and its ecosystem has to contract as well. But there is something special about the ecosystem. Have a look at the price performance in the last 7 days. This is an overview of various crypto categories, and the pump.fun ecosystem went down by 36%. Solana meme coins went down by 35%. It's pretty much one of the worst performers in the last week. Yes, other categories went down as well, but not as much as Solana. Or have a look at this overview here. This is decentralized finance. So it looks at various blockchains and checks how much capital is actually locked up in those various blockchains and how is this capital changing over time. And in the last month, we have seen Ethereum contract by 13%. Solana, however, contracted by 25%. It lost more than any other of the major blockchains. And this is then how that looks like over time. So Solana used to have 12 billion of total value locked, 20% more than during the heights of DeFi summer in November of 2021. And now it's coming down rather rapidly. And in the past, we went down for a much longer period of time. So again, this might just be the start of the pain. But here's the question. Why is Solana suffering more than all the other chains? Why is its total value locked coming down? I think it's because a lot of the growth that fueled the adoption of Solana was meme coin trading. And meme coin trading is a zero-sum game. It's player versus player. And there's not just a luck component, there's also skill involved. And especially if you've got some insider knowledge, you tend to outperform the market. Now, the longer the game is going on, the more the capital concentrates towards those skilled people and towards the insiders. Meaning that the broad base tends to lose money. And when the broad base loses money, of course, the number of transactions and the usage is going down as well. So people got initially excited. Now all the insiders have all the capital and they are now pulling out that capital and buy their Lamborghinis with it. Here, have a look at this. This is the pump.fun ecosystem revenue over time. It's declining since beginning of the year. And a lot of the growth in the last months was pump.fun related, right? So this is the number of monthly transactions in green. This is now contracting relatively fast. So this is now normalized to 100% on the right. The pump.fun ecosystem is contracting. Other blockchains didn't really have that massive run up. There was also the base chain that got some adoption through the virtual protocol, but that was way smaller in size compared to pump.fun. Today, most altcoins are losing. And the same is true for this week. And the same is even true for this month. However, as we've already established, Solana is losing more than the rest. Now, when we zoom out a little bit and we don't just look at the last month, we actually have another major cryptocurrency that also underperformed quite massively, and that is Ethereum. So Ethereum didn't do that well in the last month, but over the last year especially, it tended to underperform a lot. And Ethereum is pretty much the largest of the smart contract platforms. And what we see over here with this blue arrow, that's the technology shift. So this is when Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake. That was called the merge. Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin by more than 70% since that merge. And so have a look at Solana relative to Ethereum. Again, a lot of volatility. Again, we saw our more than 80% drops. Then we saw the rise with the meme coin trading. And again, it shows how much more Solana could potentially lose. Ethereum has already lost, but Solana might just be at the beginning. We are just playing here with scenarios, right? I don't know either where Solana is going. It could, of course, rise. But the question is always, what is the data telling us? What's the most logical, most objective way to look at those data? And when I look at a chart like this and I see this trading range, I think we are still relatively high on that trading range. So I would not be surprised to see Ethereum outperform Solana in the next years. Bitcoin's dominance is going up. Bitcoin is taking over more and more since the beginning of September of 2022. That will likely continue. And Solana, since the beginning of 2022, pretty much went sideways with BTC. So Solana is way more risky than Bitcoin, but it didn't outperform Bitcoin since Bitcoin's dominance went up. It simply just kept pace. And I believe it's very likely that Solana will now lose against Bitcoin going forward. Institutional money prefers Bitcoin over everything else. And Solana got now clearly its reputation as being the online casino of crypto. It's very hard to convince a conservative investor to invest in an online casino. Just have a look at the most liquid tokens on the Solana chain. It's pretty much all meme coins. We've got Trump, we've got Fartcoin, we've got Popcat, we've got AI Rig Complex, we've got Frog, GigaChat, Pudgy Penguins, SPX 6900, etc. A lot of this is simply just memes. And again, the meme coin casino is player versus player, and it is shrinking because retail has lost the money. Now, actually, that's not really a surprise. In most markets, we see a concentration of returns. So there is a benchmark, let's say Bitcoin, and then most assets tend to do worse than Bitcoin. We've got the same in the stock market. So when we look at the average return of the stock market, let's say through the S&P 500 ETF, most stocks do worse than the ETF because a few stocks outperform massively, but most simply just underperform. So there's a skewness towards the return. Or in other words, the winner takes most. And when we look at the top 100 cryptocurrencies and their performance in the last year, we've got Bitcoin over here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 altcoins that did better than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is at place number 19, and 81 altcoins did worse than Bitcoin in the last year. This is the unfortunate truth. Something very similar can be said for the stock market, right? There's only a few outperformers and most altcoins do worse. What is a bit counterintuitive though, is that this is even true during a bull run. Again, Bitcoin went up in the last year. Bitcoin increased by 20%. And some people think that altcoins are simply just a levered bet on Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up by 20%, then the altcoins on average should go up by 30% or 40%. But that's actually not true, right? Most altcoins still, even during a bullish environment, did worse than Bitcoin. In the last year, money was flowing into crypto. The stablecoin market cap grew by roughly 50%. And still, most altcoins went down. And so, especially recently, where we don't see that much growth in Bitcoin anymore, where we also went below what I believe is an important moving average, the 120-day. So historically, that's the one that works the best. During times like this, I don't want to bet on a few altcoins potentially doing better because again, most altcoins are doing pretty poorly, especially during times of sideways price movements where the price is just chopping along. And so again, I've been talking about this several times on this channel, and I very often got the comments that I'm just fudding, that I'm just spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But I really believe that betting on falling prices during times like this is way better than betting on rising prices. The odds are simply in our favor. For example, here I shorted Chainlink. That was on January 23rd, and I closed that short position on the 4th of March. Chainlink went down by more than 40% during that time, and I made money with that decline. Here's the announcement on January 23rd. I'm opening a link short. And here's the announcement on March 4th, how I'm closing that link short. Those announcements come from the premium membership, so the link is down below, thebitcoinstrategy.com. The reason why most people don't make money during times like this is because they don't have the tooling, they don't have the strategy, they don't know how to do this shorting properly and safely. And so what most people do is they just get burnt, they lose money, they exit crypto, and then afterwards, maybe in 1 or 2 years, when crypto prices recover again, when then the YouTube algorithm recommends crypto content, when traditional media talks about crypto again, because we get closer to new all-time highs, at that point those people come back in again and then get burnt again. I think it is better to always be somewhat involved in crypto and have a strategy in both scenarios, both when we are contracting, but also when we are expanding. It's about having more skill than the average investor. And that builds up over time, and it builds up especially during times when prices don't go up, because then all the tourists exit. And so there are more than 100 tutorial videos in premium about betting on falling prices, about risk management, about how to avoid getting liquidated, about how to find the proper altcoins to short that are likely going to underperform. It's all here because fundamentally, if we want to beat the market long term without luck, we need to be more skilled than the average. And so I do believe that if you go through all of those videos, that you're very likely going to do better than you did before. It's currently $125 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first week and I refund you 100%, no questions asked. There's really zero risk for you. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly here on YouTube as well. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next YouTube video or see you in premium. Cheers.